I'm making this video. I'm stuck in the Carmichael Manor. If anybody finds this footage, please stay away from here. There is something here connected to the Abaddon, and oh my god, what the hell is that? It's not. Here I am. So Hell House LLC Origins, the Carmichael Manor, is releasing on Shudder in 2 days on the 30th. I was able to see it a little early, and now I'm a huge fan of the first Hell House LLC. I put it probably in my top 10 found footage movies of all time. The location of the Abaddon Hotel itself, probably my favorite location in a found footage movie, just under the Collingwood Psychiatric Asylum from Grave Encounters. I love the way the Abaddon looks from the outside. I love how, just like how they explain it in these movies, that Andrew Tully, the main antagonist of this whole series, designed the hotel to be like a labyrinth, to be like a maze that it's very hard to find your way out. They capture that very, very well in the first movie. Now, the sequels, a lot of people don't care for Hell House LLC 2 and 3. I happen to have a very soft spot for the second installment, maybe just because I really love the character of Mitchell Cavanaugh. I like the character of Molly. I don't care for Jessica Fox too much, but I like how they expand on a lot of the mystery and the lore and everything surrounding the Abaddon Hotel. We get a lot more of that here in this origin story. Now, the third movie, Hell House LLC Lake of Fire, it's not that great. It's not. I mean, it's definitely the low point of this franchise, including this new one. There's still some good stuff in it, and I like the way that Stephen Cognetti pretty much had those three movies as one story from the get-go, so he knew where he was going with those three movies as like from the very beginning. Now, I don't know if he always had this origin story planned, but let's hop into some non-spoilers for this prequel here. So, non-spoilers, did I enjoy this one? I really enjoyed this movie. I think this is the best Hell House film since the original. I feel like they used the mockumentary film style and like it's a fake documentary being told just as well as they did in the first movie. The whole way that they start planting the seeds of intrigue and mystery surrounding this new location, the Carmichael Manor, which is, I believe they say it's just a town over from where the Abaddon Hotel is. Now, this is an origin story. This is a kind of prequel, but all the events that we see in the movie that take place at the Carmichael Manor with the main characters, this all takes place after the three previous films. So this isn't like going back before the events of that. We see some footage of the Carmichaels and the whole mystery of what happened to them, but they mention in this that the Abaddon Hotel is burned to the ground, which it did at the end of the third movie. And I'd have to go back and look at a few scenes in Lake of Fire, the third movie, because they do mention a carnival. And I'm sure that was setting up the seeds for what we get in this movie. That kind of digs deeper into the connection between the Abaddon Hotel, Andrew Tully, and this Carmichael Manor. I think the atmosphere in this movie is fantastic. Like, just as good as the first one. I really like the characters in this. So we have this girl, Margot, and her girlfriend, Rebecca. And Margot co-created this internet sleuth website with a friend of hers who is one of the guys who's talking like it's the documentary and filling in all the blanks for us. So they end up going to this Carmichael Manor, which has this ghost story mixed with a real crime event that happened there. So the Carmichaels are a family of 4, and one day the police ended up showing up to the house and found the mother and the sister brutally murdered in their beds. And after that, they thought it was a clear-cut case that it was the father, Arthur, or Patrick, the son. Pretty much everybody who investigated into this case has been leaning towards it being the father, Arthur, because of it was a snowy day, there was snow all over the property, and there was only one set of footprints leaving the property. So it sets up this really good mystery that has nothing to do with the Abaddon at first in this movie. The dynamic between Margot and Rebecca is great. Like, I love their whole relationship. Then we have Chase, who's the brother of Margot. Now, he's fun. Like, I really like his character. Like, especially when, because she keeps telling both of them, Margot keeps saying, keep filming everything. And the first night that they arrive there, they're supposed to spend 5 nights there at the manor. She's giving her brother shit, saying, like, what's that thing you're supposed to have? A camera? And he's saying, like, I swear tomorrow. And then when he starts recording, he makes some, like, funny-ass clips and starts talking, like, different accents and stuff just to mess with his sister. Like, I really like their brother-sister dynamic. There is something with Chase, the brother, that never really gets developed or explored. He has some type of mental illness, and something happened to him, and leading to Margot inviting him to join them on this, kind of to look after him, because supposedly he disappeared for like 2 days and nobody knew where he was. Then they have a conversation a little later that he is on medication and that he used to see things that weren't there. But that's pretty much all we get about that. So I feel like they've kind of shoehorned that in. I wish they kind of explored more of Chase's mental illness and try to make that play into the story a little more. Besides that, it felt like just throwaway dialogue and like throwaway lines, everything to do with him on medication and stuff. They didn't really make good use of that. Everything else besides that, with all the characters, I love the dynamic between all 3 of them. Now, scare-wise, there are some creepy scenes in here, and there's a cool jump scare or two. It's not really scary, but I feel just the atmosphere is very, very good in this movie. And there is 1 or 2 scenes that are pretty creepy compared to, like, the first film. Like, this is a lot more in the vein of the original Hell House LLC. A reason I really like the second one is we get to see a lot more craziness going on inside the Abaddon, because for the majority of that movie, our main characters are trapped inside the hotel, and there's a lot more supernatural stuff going on. This one is much more in the vein of the first one, but I think a lot of people are going to like that and prefer that that's the direction that they went, and didn't make this completely like balls to the wall, crazy stuff happening all over the place. This is a lot more atmosphere over jump scares. And then we have the way that they connect all of this Carmichael Manor stuff to Andrew Tully and the Abaddon Hotel, which I feel like they did a very good job. Now, I don't want to go into spoilers, so in a minute I'll jump into that, because I really want to talk about what I took from this and the whole connection between the Carmichael Manor and the Abaddon, and what people's opinions on that may be. Maybe differ from mine or from what I took from it. So, do I recommend it? Absolutely. If you're a fan of the Hell House LLC movies, especially the first one, maybe the other 2 didn't really do it for you, I really think you'll enjoy this one a lot. So, October 30th, it'll be on Shudder. Definitely check it out. Now, let's talk spoilers a bit. Alright, so for those of you who have seen it, I just want to talk a little bit of spoilers, mostly just, like I said, the connection that they give us here between the Abaddon, between that Andrew Tully and the cult and everything, and the events here at the Carmichael Manor, both what we see in the film with Margot and Rebecca and Chase and their whole incident at the Carmichael Manor, and the older footage that we see of the actual Carmichaels there and the whole mystery of what happened to them. Now, we get and this is why I want to go back and check a scene or two in Lake of Fire, the third movie, because as I said, they mentioned there that there was a carnival in the town of Abaddon, and there was some weird things going on there. So they elaborate on that in this movie. They first bring it up that Margot, when she was 10 years old, her parents and her brother Chase and her went to a fair, and she was almost kidnapped by somebody that she didn't know, and it took her a little bit of time to realize, that she was in danger, and she started screaming, and she could have died that day. And that could have been a big reason why she was pulled into her interest for cold cases and trying to solve all these mysteries, because as time went on, she got older. She realized, wow, I really could have been kidnapped and been killed that day. So I like how they set all of that up. Then we get the guy who runs the manor, who takes care of it and shows them around before he leaves, and he mentions that you're close a town over from where the Abaddon burnt to the ground, but there's an antique shop that has some things that were recovered from the Abaddon. So Rebecca and Margot end up going there, and it's cool that we see the planchette that Brock used in the second movie. There probably were a few other things that I didn't notice that call back to the other ones, but we definitely see Brock's planchette in the antique store. So in this clock that was recovered from the Abaddon, Rebecca notices that she's seen a similar clock or something like that. I forgot exactly what it is, but she knows that there's a hidden compartment in this clock, and they end up pulling out a bunch of papers and photographs that end up linking everything together. So what I took from this is we find out that in West Virginia there was a county fair where there were two people, I forget their names, Rollins and Perkins were the last names, that had a carnival game called Down a Clown. And that's two of the clown figures that we see in this movie particular. They're not the same clowns as the other movies at the Abaddon, except for the one main one. And this is where some of the mystery lies here with trying to put this all together. So they mentioned that Andrew Tully would go and visit these two people that have this Down a Clown game at this fair before they ended up moving to the town of Abaddon. That's when Tully built the Abaddon Hotel, and he already had his cult pretty much forming at this point. We find out right near the end that Patrick Carmichael was the son. He was the one who ended up killing his family in, name of Andrew Tully and his cult. So he's the one responsible for the murder of all the Carmichaels. It wasn't the father. So we see him dressed up in this clown costume, the infamous one from the first movie and the second and third. Now, we find out these clowns, they're not just dummies, like we were led to believe maybe in the first few movies. The way that they tell it here is that the two people that started this cult with Tully ended up wearing these outfits. So they're actual outfits that are put onto mannequins. But then they end up showing a picture at the end of Margot when she was young at the fair that she almost got kidnapped from. And we see the iconic clown standing there at the Down a Clown game. Now, what does this mean? So obviously someone was trying to kidnap Margot in order to satisfy this cult. So was it Patrick who tried stealing her from the carnival? Because they show him dressed up like that third clown, the one that we know very well, not the other two that are the two friends of Tully that started this cult and everything. So was it Patrick, or is it implying that it's supposed to be Andrew Tully, and that was like his clown costume? All of that I'm not 100% sure of. So if anyone has any ideas and theories on that, what's the significance of that particular clown costume and who was wearing it? Like I said, I think it's pretty clear with the last scene in the movie that Patrick was the one who was wearing it. But that doesn't mean it was him who tried kidnapping Margot when she was 10 years old at the fair. So, is it Tully? Is it Patrick Carmichael? That's probably my biggest question here. So, anyone who sees it or has seen it, let me know what your theories are. But this was a great addition to this whole franchise. I really, really enjoyed this. I actually watched it twice, which is something I've been doing often with movies I enjoy. And the last thing I'll say with this, Stephen Cognetti has a great talent for writing, directing. I would just like to see something else by him. Like something non-Hell House related. Like a completely new project, completely new story. I really would like to see Cognetti do something else. Like, this is all well and good, going and giving some origin story and stuff to the Hell House saga. But I'd love to see him do something completely different. And the way that they end this, I mean, it leaves this open for other entries, of course. I just hope he doesn't just keep on going with Hell House, and that's all he's known for, is just he's the Hell House guy. He's got a lot of talent. He should definitely try something else, because I would love to see that. But that's Hell House LLC, Origins, the Carmichael Manor. Can't recommend it enough. If you're a huge Hell House LLC fan, if you're a big found footage fan, recommend it wholeheartedly. If you're not really big on any of those movies, still worth a shot. Still check it out. But, alright guys, take care. I'll have some more stuff up later.